Hello, my name is Jin, and right now I want to discuss about the Lion King live action remake. I put live action in quotes because technically it's all CG animated, but for now I'm just going to refer it to as live action mainly because it's the era of Disney live action movies. So if you don't know about the story of the Lion King, so basically it's like this. When his father was killed by his uncle and stuff, this young prince Simba has to learn some stuff and eventually take back what's rightfully his kingdom and not his uncle's. So for this review, I'm going to at first, I'm just going to compare it to the original Lion King, and then after that, I'm going to review it as a movie of its own. Because most of this movie is just the animated Lion King, like copy and pasted onto this screen, except with realistic looking visuals, which is one good thing about this movie. It's visually stunning. So when compared to the original, definitely the remake lacks. Next, for instance, in the opening scene, don't worry, I watched the original before I watched this one. Yes, I did. In the opening scene of the live action one, it really doesn't have the effect as the original. Maybe it's the color choices or what they focused on and stuff like that. And it does not feel artistically right. But still, it's visually stunning. And of course, it's just the original Lion King for the most part. You watch it and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that one. Oh yes, I remember that one. Oh yes, I remember that one. Oh, amazing. Yes, most of it is going to be like that. However, the challenge that they had to overcome was with realistic visuals. Like if you want something, like everything has a price to pay for realistic visuals, I feel like the price was the limited range of expressiveness. It's like in the 2D animated one, not necessarily realistic looking, it's so unlimited with your range, and you could put human emotions on lions and they still look like lions. But in this remake, they have to actually somehow make the lions look realistic, which means, have you even seen a lion smile? That's a challenge that they have to actually overcome, which I could find few solutions that were in this movie. One of them was definitely the music. Sometimes the tone of the music could tell what emotion is supposed to be conveyed. Another thing is the voice acting, which maybe enough desperation could actually lead to a better emotion. And the third one, just don't show the faces at all. Well, they're all there, but I feel like the third one worked best for the most part, but the voice acting worked best for Timon and Pumbaa's character. And speaking of voice acting, let's go to the actors. Now, there are some reprisals, such as James Earl Jones as Mufasa in this one, but I feel like his performance was a bit off. But the best performance was definitely by Seth Rogen and Bill Eichner, I believe was his name. Him as Timon and Pumbaa, and they're the best parts of the movie. Period. Apart from the visuals, Timon and Pumbaa are the best part of this movie. Mainly because they have the most changes from the original whole 94 movie. And I could see people enjoying the remake of Timon and Pumbaa, and I could see people who enjoy the original Timon and Pumbaa. But for everything else, I just couldn't enjoy myself with this new Simba because some of the extra lines doesn't feel right, but I'm comparing this to the original still. So, the songs, I felt like was not as effective as the original, especially for Be Prepared, the one that Scar sings. Because, my golly, they cut a lot of the song out. And it's fine if they're going to do the final part of the song in the movie. I understand you. But, you know how the original song of Be Prepared, at the end there's like a crescendo section where it gets higher and higher and higher and stuff? Well, the remake also have a crescendo section, but it's definitely lazy. If I were to be honest. It's definitely a lazy crescendo section. I feel like for Be Prepared, they're like, yeah, you know what? We're not going to top the original. Let's just give up on this one. Yeah, they just gave up. They just gave up, I guess. Then the execution of scenes. As I said, emotions and expressiveness are lacking in the remake. It just doesn't... The scenes doesn't get executed that well like the original. So, I think that's all I could to say for the comparison between the original. Now, as a movie on its own, which I'm talking about the new parts of this movie, there are certain additional lines, additional scenes, and additional songs. Let's start with the additional songs, because I don't remember any of them. I know there were two, but then after watching I only remembered one. And after some time, I don't even remember the one song I actually remember. So, maybe it's because that it doesn't fit well the modernness style of this song. Maybe. For me, I definitely don't prefer modern music, so I guess it's a preference thing of the music, the songs, but for me, I don't really listen to many modern songs. So, I felt like the new songs could have been better. Next is the additional lines, because I want to talk about some additional lines. It's like, if you watch the original and then watch the remake like I did, you actually notice some of the additional lines. And I felt like some of the additional lines kind of annoying and pointless. It really felt like that to me. I just don't know why. It really felt annoying and pointless. There is no point, and it's kind of annoying that these additional lines actually exist. When I say additional lines, I don't mean additional scenes. I mean, hey, there's these scenes from the original, but they add in a line. Of course, they did cut out some of the original stuff, because they had to, and make room for tons of extra scenes, which I think for the most part they were pointless. The additional scenes, for me anyways, I felt like they were more like the reason, the explanation for the scene in the original movie to actually happen. That's the only new thing in this movie, apart from the additional lines and the massive change to Timon and Pumbaa's character, which I absolutely love. There's nothing else. Like, if all of the voice actors were like Timon and Pumbaa, not because they're funny or anything, but kind of like they are actually different from the original, but still kind of have the same personality, but different lines, I felt I feel like that would be a better move, but this one, it really feels like it's following a blueprint. It's so lifeless. That's what I want to say. It feels so lifeless. And there's nothing new. There's no point in this. Who asked for these additional scenes? I don't think anybody asked for these additional scenes to explain why these scenes actually had to happen. And, oh jeez, I forgot. You know the Can You Feel the Love Tonight song in the original? Oh wait, I'm going to cut that out. It's so pointless. What do you want to do with The Lion King that's different from the original Lion King? Now, I didn't like Dumbo, but I could acknowledge that Dumbo is better than this one because at least that movie tried to be something else. Get it? For Aladdin, I had fun watching it. Why? I don't know. But for this one, I couldn't find any fun apart from Timon and Pumbaa's character in this movie, and it could have been so much more better. I feel like there should be a massive difference in this remake compared to the original. Even if it's good or bad, but this is just bad for me. And I did research on Rotten Tomatoes that audience scores for this movie is actually quite high. So, I guess people enjoy these. I guess people enjoy these things, so who am I to judge? Film is subjective. But for me, personally, I did not enjoy this movie at all. It doesn't have the right artistic choices, it's like in the original movie. But yeah, it just doesn't have that artistic direction. And it's not different. It doesn't have a reason to exist. I still don't know why this exists. I didn't ask for it. I don't hear anybody asking for this. It just exists, and after watching it, I am just going to be happy if this movie, the technology used for this, was actually used in a documentary on like the Discovery Channel or something. I felt like the technology here could have worked better there instead of this one, because honestly, realistic really doesn't give that expression. On the movie on its own, because it's The Lion King, it should be fine, but pacing wise, I find this movie a bit worse-ly paced than the original. Well, for me. But the story wise, it's The Lion King, so yeah, I guess you can't go wrong, but just the expressiveness, the execution, and it just doesn't act right. And this movie actually showed that it could have done good with Timon and Pumbaa. But why couldn't it do good with other characters? I have no idea. I have no idea. I just don't. Well, unfortunately, I didn't enjoy this movie as much as other people, so I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 10. And my recommendation level of this movie is 0 out of 5. Would not recommend. So, did you watch this remake of The Lion King? Did you like it or hate it? Do you prefer the original? Well, if you want to discuss, you could discuss in the comments down below. And if you want more movie reviews, you can subscribe to my channel for more movie reviews. Hopefully. Well, I guess that's about it, and I will see you again. So, goodbye.